He's a significant figure in the Hamas hierarchy, but the Hamas leadership is something of a collective. It's not a. It doesn't depend on any individual. And Israel has, assassinated Hamas leaders and Hezbollah leaders in the past, and the leaders who've taken their place have been stronger figures. So it hasn't always worked to Israel's advantage in that sense, nor to the organisation's disadvantage.
What can you tell us?
So it looks like there's been some sort of attack in Dahia, which is the southern suburb of Beirut, that is where the Hezbollah headquarters is located, where a lot of Hezbollah supporters live in that area. It's a Shia part of Beirut, so it's become the sort of stronghold, if you like, of Hezbollah, and therefore it's also where other groups have representative offices that are allied to Hezbollah in Iran, that way, including Hamas. And it looks like the deputy leader of Hamas, one of the couple of deputy leaders of Hamas, the Hamas operative who is the liaison with Hezbollah and therefore more easily directly with Iran as well, has been killed. It looks like a drone strike. That's not been confirmed, but we know there's been an explosion at a office building, or just in the front of an office building. There were a couple of cars on fire as well. A lot of damage to the office, and local TV stations, including a Hezbollah-controlled TV station, are saying that Saleh al-Arouri, who is the deputy head of Hamas, has been killed.
Is there any way, Richard, of weighing up the strategic importance of this as a blow to Hamas? Clearly, it'll be taken by Israel as a psychological victory, maybe a boost to Hamas, an endorsement of the attacks they've been carrying out.
I think it's obviously it's a blow to Hamas. I don't want to downplay that. He's a significant figure in the Hamas hierarchy, but the Hamas leadership is something of a collective. It's not a. It doesn't depend on any individual. And Israel has, assassinated Hamas leaders and Hezbollah leaders in the past, and the leaders who've taken their place have been stronger figures. So it hasn't always worked to Israel's advantage in that sense, nor to the organisation's disadvantage. I think it's a psychological blow for Israel at this stage, because they were facing the one big problem for one big problem for Israel at the moment is they've had this massive campaign in Gaza. They've destroyed 70% of the Gaza Strip. They've killed 20,000 Palestinians. They've killed a lot of Hamas fighters as well, and mid-ranking leaders, sort of the equivalent of majors and colonels in an army, if you like, the fighters on the ground and their commanders. They haven't taken out anybody of the top leadership. They haven't managed to capture anyone in Hamas from the top Hamas leadership. The leadership outside of Hamas outside Gaza are kind of protected because they're based in places like Qatar, which are American allies, and Israel can't go after them in Qatar. But they have managed at last to get one Hamas leader, someone they can say we've got someone from the top Hamas leadership. Of course, Israel probably won't claim this directly. They don't claim these attacks when they happen on other countries' territory, as they would if it happened in Gaza. But they won't deny it, and one can assume that it is Israel. No one else will be carrying out a drone attack in South Beirut. So I think it's a psychological blow for Israel to say, well, we've actually got someone from the Hamas leadership after all this effort. So more of a victory for Israel, I would say, than a defeat for Hamas at this stage.
Interesting point. And just last point on this at this stage, it's fair to say that Israel has, over the years, a record of targeting individuals wherever they are to be found. It happened after the Munich bombing in the 70s. It's happened since and before.
And they've done it in Beirut as well. I mean, there was a string of killings of Palestinian leaders in Beirut and in Lebanon in the 70s. And even within the last few years, they've carried out attacks not on individuals in Lebanon, but they've carried out sort of very pinpoint accurate drone attacks, very quietly, without claiming credit for it again, on a couple of Hezbollah targets, particularly connected to its missile program, even in Dahia in Beirut in the recent past.